All right, everyone. Welcome to our show. This morning we have Brody.
Thanks for having me. And the applause, I love it.
How is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you had any breakfast yet?
No, I don't eat breakfast.
You don't eat breakfast?
No.
Okay.
No, I never wake up hungry. It's weird.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
I start at lunch, so yeah.
You don't eat breakfast. You don't drink coffee. How do you feel your life?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like
How do you function?
It's like I have to go out to have a coffee. I have to go out to have breakfast. Like if you tell me we're going to Dome this morning, then yeah, I'm sorted. I'll definitely eat a huge breakfast. But it's like, I don't know, I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, shower. That's all I need. A hot shower and then we just all go. Yeah, that's it. Just straight from there.
Right. Okay. Let's do a bit of icebreakers for you.
Beautiful.
All right. Number one, if you could play at any celebrity's wedding, who would it be and why?
I reckon it would be like some big basketball star. Like, give me like LeBron James or something like that. I just reckon it would be awesome fun. Just a party.
I don't like LeBron James.
No. I mean, I don't actually follow basketball. I just know that they go all out.
Yeah.
If we're talking like Aussie, we'll go like, I don't
Joe
know,
Ingles?
like Dustin Martin or something like that. Just someone who would party. Yeah. I think weddings need to be a party. So
Yeah.
something big like that would be awesome fun. Like the fireworks, the lot.
Nice. Speaking of basketball, we did a wedding a couple of months ago with David
Yes.
Martin as the celebrant.
The celebrant.
The celebrant. David Martin.
The Wildcats.
The Wildcats
captain.
Right.
Well, ex-captain.
Ex-captain.
Yeah.
He's a
That was-
celebrant now.
Celebrant.
I just remember we were sitting there for, I reckon it was a good half an hour. We had spoken to him. I'd met him. He came up and said his name and that. And I was like, I know you're from somewhere and I don't know why. And then we were sitting there and then all of a sudden it just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. And that was a fun wedding. I think we got rained out a little bit, but party went on. So
I was so worried about the rain,
Yeah.
but it turned out really good.
yes, yeah. So that was a good night, but we were definitely huddling under some umbrellas during the actual ceremony. But the bride and groom were stoked with it all. They didn't care. They were just like, "Yep, let's go. Let's get married, get it done." Yeah, that's it. That's good.
Next one, if you had to choose one instrument to play for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Well, I'd have to go with the guitar because it's what I've always known and loved. It's what brings me an income as well. So not many musos, have the luxury to make a genuine income off it. And so I would pick the guitar. However, I do feel like sometimes I sit there and go, I wish I was a piano player because I just think that what they do is amazing and they can do so much more than what a guitarist can. So I'd say guitar, but a little bit of me would go like, I wish I was a keys player. Yeah. Something.
Is it acoustic or electric?
I've always been drawn more to the acoustic playing, acoustic songs. Personally, I just like to sit on the couch with the acoustic and just play. But I'll go through periods where you kind of chop and change, and depending really who you're listening to at the time, that's what you're actually doing. So when I was studying music, it was a lot more electric guitar, because we were playing in bands and doing that kind of thing. As a wedding musician, it's all acoustic. There's very rare unless you're doing a band gig that you're playing the electric. So definitely more the acoustic.
Any particular acoustic brand you like?
Look, all mine are not
Taylor?
I don't have any Taylors, Martins, Matons, anything Gibson, nothing fancy. I play a Tasman, which they're a lovely little brand. But I very much look for workhorses because in our line of work, at any point, someone might come up and go, I want to play a song. And I don't really like being that guy that goes, no, I'm not giving you my guitar because it's worth $2,500. Instead, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I paid $500-600 for it. It's still a lot of money, but it's not the end of the world if they drop it or scratch it, and even though I didn't spend a crazy amount, it's probably done 200 odd gigs over 3 years. Yeah, which probably 250 odd over 3 years. So yeah, does well. So no, I'm more on the affordable, but does the job really well.
To be honest, like if you play at some wedding receptions, no one actually care what gear we use.
I'm not gonna look at it.
No.
Gibson, PRS, whatever, it's like, oh, it's a Gibson. It's like,
You always get those one or two, you know, the guys
The
who love
uncles.
photography or the couple that just love their music and play, and there's always someone who sings, and there's always one or two and they'll appreciate it. But that stuff's for us. You know, the toys are for us. The gear is what we like to use, not necessarily what everyone else wants from us. As you said, they don't really care. They don't know what it is. So,
a bit of trivia. I used to play in a band as well. I used to gig around Perth and just play music during the weekends, right? I used to bring my, fancy equipments for those gigs. And I used to carry my, I think it was my Gibson SG and a couple of $1,000 worth of pedals. Right?
Yeah.
And there was this chick like dancing around on top of my pedals. I was like, shoes, move. Don't stand here.
Oh, it's the worst.
I was panicking, man.
Like, we do a New Year's gig and we're literally on grass and there's no stage. So they can literally just walk on and off all night. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, my pedals and my electric guitars, that's where I have spent a bit of money. And same thing, it's like people just come over, they're spilling drinks everywhere. They're leaning on stuff. I've had people fall onto my microphone and the microphone smack me in the face and they fall over. Like, you've had it all happen and you just have to go,
Nothing happened.
nothing happened, it's all good. Let's ignore that they did something to the gear, and you just have to not be too emotionally attached to this stuff, because in the end, they're tools. Like, they are tools. They're not meant to be sat in a cupboard and left alone. And if you've got something like that, then I recommend leaving it at home, because, as you said, like, people are going to come up, they're going to dance on them, they're going to ask to play a song, and people will remember you for letting them do those things. So I'm always like, here's a guitar, play a song. If you suck, people are going to boo at you, so just make sure it's decent, like, because we cop that all the time as well. So it definitely happens a lot.
Do you ever play the keys though? Do you know how to play keys?
I can play very, very, very basic keys. Every now and then our keys player might teach me to play something, because he also sings. So we might try and do something like that, but like, not enough that I would ever hire myself out as a keys player. Ever. Like, okay, definitely not good enough. But I've done the odd little bit on there. But no, not enough to just sit there and play a song. So,
Have you ever forgotten song lyrics while performing?
all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Like, we have this running joke with my partner, who's our singer, and then in our band, it's like, there's so many song lyrics that we actually don't know, and we sit there and look at them for the first time and go, oh, that's what the lyrics are. And it happens all the time, to the point where, like, I will get the worst looks on stage because we're all singing some part together and I've sang the wrong words, like, and just going, no, but that's the words. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, oh, well, I really thought they were. And no, definitely have done that a lot. But people don't notice. Like,
definitely.
Especially as a singer, people know the chorus and the first verse of every song. Outside of that, they don't. Like, I do my little party trick while we're playing is I do a few raps here and there. And I can tell you right now, sometimes it's not even words that come out. It's just sounds and syllables, because I've forgotten this one little section, but I know the next bit. I just need to get it through to it, and people don't notice. So it happens a lot. Forgetting chords is definitely worse, because you hear that a lot more. But lyrics, you can get away with it. You can definitely get away with it. However, if it's something like an IELTS song, it's in front of me, because I don't take that risk. I will get this. We will get this right. It will be 100% correct. It will be right there in front of me, always just on an iPad to the side. And so if you're unsure of something, you can look, because you don't get that one wrong.
I mean, you do get into the singing part too, so sometimes you do forget.
So, it happens where you forget, but if you've got your little prompts,
Yeah.
kind of keeps you going. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. And what's the most challenging part of being a wedding musician that people might not expect?
Probably two parts. One would be we are human and we don't actually know every single song. So I've had moments where people come up to us and go, I very much try and accommodate everything at a wedding to the couple. So if they have a song change on the day, I'll do it. Like, very much so. If it's within my ability to do so. Where it gets hard is people forget that we don't know every single song. And just because it's a top 40 song right now doesn't mean I actually know the song that well. So that's probably one thing. But the hardest would be actually getting like someone's ideas out from us. So we had one wedding where they asked us to play a Drake song for the aisle.
Wow.
A Drake song for the aisle. And it was actually a really pretty song. And a bit of advice I give people when picking songs is pick the song based off like the lyrics and the meaning, not necessarily the song itself, because we can slow it down, we can change it. Like, you'll see musicians doing it all the time where we chop and change it to make it work to the situation. But we did get a Drake song once and we were like, how on earth are we going to turn this into a slow, really pretty aisle song? And we did it and we were really proud of it. But that's probably one of the hardest things, is just getting their vision and performing it. Or the opposite is when they have no vision at all and they don't know what they want and trying to give them ideas. But you don't know these people. It's a really personal thing. It's their aisle song. It's their first dance. Some people don't have that picked out. So you've got to suggest things and kind of having conversations and learning about them while trying to suggest songs that they might like. Based off artists they like, genres, all that kind of stuff. But taking the vision or lack of vision and making it into something amazing that will last forever is probably the hardest part of being a wedding musician. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a song that you just like the most played song that you've ever done? Like Ed Sheeran, Perfect, or kind of.
Ed Sheeran's kind of dropped off a little bit.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't play it too often, but I like Ed Sheeran, so I'm always happy to play it. Can't Help Falling in Love is probably still the all-time, bit of Elvis. So there's, you don't go a month without playing that song at a wedding, and it's and like, as much as you try and go and steer people away from songs that are used quite often, there's a reason they're used. Like, the people don't use them because they're boring songs. They're really pretty nice songs and have meaning and all that kind of stuff to those people. But that's probably still one of the most played songs that we get. And then the other thing is whatever's big on TikTok. Are you on TikTok? I am on TikTok. I only got TikTok because of business. And just like every other person, I spend 6 hours a day going like that to every single video. And
I think it's really fun.
Really?
It's once I got it like to a point where it was things I liked, that was kind of the losing point for me, because now I'm addicted. But it is a work-related TikTok. So it's like all just wedding stuff, music stuff, DJ stuff, like all that kind of thing. So it's good, and it's good for getting ideas, inspiration.
Yeah, that's right.
That's probably the hardest part about what we do, is actually finding inspiration these days, because what we do is really repetitive. So it's good for that. Yeah, keeps the mind fresh.
Yeah, you also want to stand out as well.
Need to stand out, need to find something new, need to keep yourself entertained, as well as make sure you're delivering a top quality product
100%.
for the client. So it's good for that kind of thing.
So Brody's business name is Southern Sky Duo.
A Southern Sky Duo, but give it a week, it's going to be Southern Sky Music, because we do duo, trio, band, DJ, MC, like anything entertainment music related we do. So we need to get rid of duo. We didn't think we would do this much when we started the business.
It's good.
We were like, we're just going to do duos at pubs and restaurants and the odd birthday or something. Now we're here. Sitting with you guys on a wedding podcast. Like, we never would have thought that as a business we were going to be doing this kind of thing.
Brody's partner is the vocalist, Rose, right?
Rosabella.
Rosabella. Yeah. And there's another one, another guitarist, right?
So we've got, in our kind of core group, there's myself and Rosabella. We run the business. We do the bulk of the weddings.
Yep.
But we operate on a, like, I guess kind of like a business. We have subcontractors and that kind of thing. So we have some friends that do guitar, keys, drums for us as kind of the main ones. We've started bringing on sax, and we're looking to bring on strings and that kind of thing as well. And then, but yeah, the bulk of it is myself and Rosabella doing, I'll do guitar, she'll sing, I'll DJ, she'll MC. It just makes it all flow really, really well. And it's pretty cool having a separate MC to DJ, because what you can do with that is like really, really cool. Like the hype up moments, you can actually, someone can go out there while someone else is building it up with the music. It's really cool. Yeah. So but no, she's the boss.
They're always the boss.
I'll come and chat. But like, she's the boss.
It's fine. Understandable.
Yes. Yeah. We do half the work each, and she takes 100% of the money. It's really, I'm blessed.
Let's get into the main topic for today, which is wedding planning. All right. Brody is getting married in November.
Yes, not long now.
We'll cut that. It's a bit too late. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. Leave it in. Bloopers reel.
That's it.
How is the wedding preparation going?
Yeah, really good. Really good. I guess we're very unique in the way that our wedding prep, although was the same as everyone else that is getting married, like there's a system to it. You can move things around when you're doing it. But although we've still done that system, majority of it got done in 2 weeks. Because being in the industry, it wasn't really, it's not hard to find the vendors and find the people who are doing it. A few of the vendors actually told us they were doing our wedding. So they were like, no, we're doing it. Yeah, you don't get a choice. We will be there on the day. We are going to be helping. We will be a part of it. So yeah, it's kind of, we still went through that system, and there was definitely a few learning curves that being on the couple side compared to the vendor side, that were definitely different. And it's just things like, we had certain vendors picked out well in advance before we'd gotten engaged, before anything like that. We just kind of, you work in weddings, you kind of start going, if I get married, I'll do this. If I get married, I'll do this. So that was really easy. But then it was like, you've actually got to do certain things beforehand before you can actually book anyone. Like, we were like, yeah, guys, we want you to do the wedding. They're like, cool. What's the date? We're like, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. So we got engaged last year, and we would have just answered, 2024. And they're like, cool. When? Second half of the year. Got a month? Not really.
No.
Got a venue? No. Okay. So we can't book anything. Cool. So then we changed the way we thought, especially when we're chatting to couples, is going, you've got kind of your hierarchy of who you need to book first and the order of bookings. And as tough as it can be, it is most important to least important. What do you need to have a wedding? And then what is kind of the extras around it? So for me, the hardest part, and this was a part that we did actually struggle with, was picking the venue. So big wedding, 220 people, cut down from probably 250-ish. It was extremely hard. But we have very big families. We figured out that if we invited everyone, there probably would have been 400 or 500 people there. Like we have huge families, and that's extended families. But we just see so much of them. Very, very hard to do that bit. And then when you go, okay, well, we can look at about 200-ish people. Where can we actually fit? That is a big question, and you have to start asking yourself other questions. Are you guys married? Yeah.
I am.
You're not?
Yeah. I am.
So, like, you would have gone through the same thing. It was very much like, you start looking at all these venues and you go, what do I like? This is really pretty. This is really nice. This is a awesome area for this bit, and this has an awesome area for this bit. And you've got to find that happy medium between, ceremony, location, reception, cocktail hour. And then they start asking you other questions. Are you having sit down? or are you having cocktail? Are you having buffet, or are you having courses? Are you doing long tables, or are you doing round tables? And that all of these little things where you start chatting to the venues and go, I don't know. We haven't thought about this. We don't know what to do. So then it just became about like, what's the general vibe of what we want. And then once we actually found that as a team, came together, because we disagreed on lots of it, as you do. When you start figuring that out, then you can start eliminating and finding the venue. So for us, we wanted that happy medium between really nice gardens, outdoor ceremony, really nice photo locations, but we wanted it to be a sit-down course meal, I guess bowl style kind of reception, which was definitely more my partner on that bit, because I was like, yeah, we'll just have a cocktail, we'll just stand up the whole time,
casual,
and really casual,
it's more
wear
of a
somewhat
party,
nice clothes,
kind of,
but we did try the food recently at the venue, and I'm happy we went sit down because it is beautiful. So you kind of figured that bit out, and then you can start looking at dates, because if you pick the date first, then you might be limited to the venues you can go to. So we were lucky. We had 3 dates and the venue had 2 of them. Finding your 2 or 3 venues that fit the style and fit the vibe, fit the type of wedding you want, and then going from there to booking it, finding those dates. And then letting people know those dates.
So finding venue is the first one.
100%. You can't have a wedding without a place to do it. And finding there's been a few unfortunate situations recently with venues closing down in certain areas that, really was horrible circumstances for everyone. It's so hard to find another venue. So venue is the absolute most important, because the way I see it is I'm, as a musician, a DJ, I'm replaceable because there's other musician and DJs, but that venue isn't really as replaceable because you've got to fit this massive list of requirements. And if you can't fit those, then you're limited to the venues you go to. Whereas as a DJ, I can download any music on the platforms I use. As a musician, I can learn all the songs, and we've got styles to us, but at our core, I'm still a musician, a DJ. I've got people that can fill in. And then the next 3 I would kind of go to is, one, to legally get married, you need someone to marry you. So without a celebrant or a priest, if you're going a religious wedding, or going to a marriage office or something like that, you need to decide what that situation and what that decision is. For most people, that's a celebrant, so you go look for a celebrant because you need to get married. And I've definitely been to weddings where they had got married before and they had a friend be a celebrant, but they're already married. So you need to still remember that it is a legal binding decision. So without the celebrant, it's not going to happen. So that would be outside of the venue, I would go celebrant. The next would be capturing the day, how you plan to capture it. So I usually put video and videographers and photographers in the same group there. And then the next would be entertainment, and running that side of it. Your celebrant's going to run your ceremony. Your DJ MC is going to not run the night, but they're going to be the forefront of who people think run the night. We announce everything, that kind of thing. So I put celebrants, video and photography, and DJs as kind of that next forefront. And then it's the things that can be done by multiple people. That one person can do multiple weddings of, cakes and stuff like that. One cake maker doesn't have to stress flowers, although there's a lot to do with it. They can do multiple weddings at once. So it's, not the most important thing. Whereas as a photographer, if you're doing a ceremony, most ceremonies are at the same time. So you're doing one wedding. Realistically, you're doing one wedding. As a celebrant, same thing. Most ceremonies at the same time, you're going to do one wedding a day. And because you have to allow for the fact that maybe people run late. You can't turn around and go, you ran 45 minutes late, my package is nearly up, I'm going, we need to hurry this up. No, you wait 45 minutes and you start in 45 minutes. That's how it is. So I'd probably go those next, and then after that, it's deciding what's important to you from there.
Yeah.
But it can be a process that you kind of, if you plan it out, it makes it a lot easier to actually plan the wedding. Yeah.
What about the hairdresser and makeup artist? Where would you put that in category?
I would put that kind of that third tier, like once again, a hairdresser and makeup artist. It's extremely important, but I'm finding more and more it's the trends, and like people are kind of going with similar styles and that kind of thing, but they've all got teams, so they can a lot easier kind of book that. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Especially being, a male. I don't have to deal with that.
We're easy.
Like, we're leading up to our wedding. My partner Belle is going, yep, so we're going to be up at 6 a.m. and we're starting at 6:30 doing all this, and I'm like,
I'm not.
I might get up at about 8.
Like midday even.
Have breakfast about 9 because I have to have breakfast on the day, and then we might go karting or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, go play around in golf.
Yeah.
And then by about 12 o'clock we'll go back and we'll start getting ready.
Yeah.
So it's completely different. But there's probably a little bit more work that has to be done with picking something like that. Like a lot of makeup artists and hairstylists will do trials.
Yeah.
So you usually do those trials before you solidify that person's in there.
Yeah.
And like, I could be completely wrong here once again, because it's not something I deal with often. But from what I've seen, you do those trials and that kind of thing. Whereas with the celebrants and DJs and videographers, photographers, you kind of look at their work and then go, awesome, I want to book you in. Whereas this is probably a bit more of a process. Cake, same thing. You may want to try their cake. You may want to go and get yourself a sample box to pick the flavour you want. That once again is a process, because you got to let them cook that. Like, you got to let them make it, so you got to order it. Then you got to pick it up. Then you got to try it. Then you got to decide. You might be able to be lucky and see them at an expo, and you've already tried it, the food, tried the cake, that kind of thing. But you've got kind of, there's still other necessities, but as you go through these, and the one thing I do tell people is no two weddings are the same. You don't need everything. Like, I tell people all the time, I would recommend getting a DJ and MC. It helps a lot with running the night. Some people go, yep, that's great advice. Thank you so much. We're going to use a Spotify playlist. And I'm like, I don't recommend it. But in the end, it's their wedding. Like, I can't make them do anything. For some people, it's like, I personally, one of my biggest budgets for the day went towards photo and video, because I'm capturing it. I want to capture it, every single part of it. For other people, they don't mind. Like, I'm going to get a photographer for a few hours because I want to capture some nice photos of the ceremony and get some photos afterwards, and then they're happy to go because they don't mind as much. Some people want a videographer, some people don't, because they don't mind as much. Celebrant, bad luck. You need one of them, because otherwise you're not getting married. But once again, you can go to a marriage office if you're having a religious wedding. There's other ways around it. And even venue, like when I say venue, that doesn't mean you need to hire a venue. That just means you need to pick your venue. So I do a lot of backyard weddings. I love them. They're definitely a party, because those people don't have a time to close down. The bar doesn't shut. And I'm not going to lie, I've been asked many times to stay late, and I will, if people are paying for that service. I'm more than happy to stay until 2 a.m. to keep the party going. It's all good. Do I regret it the next day? Absolutely, because you're usually not getting home until 3-4 o'clock. Like, it's a long, long day. But you can have a backyard wedding. Like, there's nothing stopping from doing that. You just need to decide on that, because that changes what you do. So instead of, a backyard wedding then becomes, okay, you need to look at things like, do you have a marquee in case it rains? Do you have a dance floor or a space to dance? How are you doing drinks? Are you hiring bartenders, or are you doing eskies? Like, there's so many other things. You need to get caterers. Like, a venue will 9 times out of 10 have a caterer, unless they advertise they're a DIY venue. But even then, you know, they've usually got preferred vendors that they get in for doing the catering. So there's just, depending on the option you go, there's kind of a list of choices you have to make.
Yeah.
And we very much learnt that, being the fact that even though we had most of the booked within 2 weeks, there was other things that we didn't really take into consideration, didn't know we wanted. And then some things are just fun and you're just like, let's just do that because we can. Like, I don't need a reason. We're getting a gelato cart for our wedding for people in between. It could be a hot day. It's in November. There's every chance it could be 30 to 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So something like that's a great idea. It's a bit of fun. People will like it. And yeah, we're just like, yeah, cool, awesome. That's a great idea. Things like, then there are other things that are fun, but are also a way to get those memories. So photo booths.
Yeah.
Such a big thing at the moment. And so they should be. They're so much fun. Like, you can use them all night. People can take photos home on the spot.
Yeah.
But because of the technology that we have in 2024, we can also get sent the entire gallery as the couple. And then you sit there and go, this is awesome. Look at these memories. They're all these people who had fun. I didn't even have time to chat to that person. It's good to know that they were having a great time all night. Like, there's so much other stuff that you can kind of look at. Yeah, so the planning process is a tough one. It causes many arguments. I see it in couples.
Yep.
I see it in my own relationship. It happens all the time. But it's just, you need to have those conversations on what's important to you. Like, what will make your wedding, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's a fair bit to it, but it's like just getting that process going. But above all, you need to, very much, I always recommend start with the venue, find out what you want. And that can go down to, you may want a nice ball in a grand ballroom, go Crown, that kind of thing. Somewhere like Rendezvous, Joondalup, all that, where they've got those grand big ballrooms.
Yep.
That if that's the style of wedding you're looking for. Other people may turn around and they're like, we are at home in nature. We love forests and bushland and that kind of thing. So going out to the hills somewhere where there's so many amazing venues that you can do that. And then deciding, are we doing it ourselves? Is it a DIY wedding, or are we getting someone to help plan it and paying for everything? So budgets and all that, make sure you're kind of following it, having those discussions, because if you don't chat about it, you just end up blowing your budget anyway, and more arguments will happen. So yeah.
So you reckon booking the vendors at least a year ahead of the wedding?
I think at least.
Yeah.
I'm noticing right now I'm getting 18 to 24 months.
Wow, okay.
Is what people want. It could have a lot to do with financial situations and kind of the economy at the moment. People aren't booking. People are allowing more time so that they're not having to kind of skimp out on the costs of it. Because in the end, you do it once, ideally. Ideally, you're always doing this once. So you want to do it right the first time. So, booking your venue, and then kind of that will always need, usually I would say 12 to 18 months at least. It's very hard to get into a venue last minute. There's always spaces for it, and it's always doable, but it just might not be exactly what you want, and you have to compromise more. And that's what it comes down to, is like, I have people all the time message us and go, hey, our wedding's in 3 months. Like, can you do it? And I'm like, yeah, let me check. Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. If it's a no, I will send them to who I think would be the next best. They've come to me for a reason, so who does something similar, offers a similar service. It's never going to be like for like, but there's someone else that can do it.
Yep.
So, it's like going through that process of finding your venue, allowing that time. The longer you leave it, the less choice you have.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to in the end. It is first in, best dressed.
Yeah.
And people pay deposits. And I myself, although, you'd be lying if you said you're never tempted by money. But deep down, I know that every single time, if I've booked a ceremony 2 years in advance and someone comes to me with a full day where I'm going to make 3-4 times as much, I will not cancel that person's wedding.
Yeah.
Because that is a massive day of their life and I am a massive part of it. And like yourselves, you know, you're capturing that. They've hired you for a reason. They've got you in advance. So I'll always give it to first in, best dressed. Like it's how I always do it. If you come to me and you tell me exactly what you want, I will do that. I don't care how far. Well, I usually like to not go too far in advance. Like I'm not booking, 2.5, 3, 4 years away. You don't know what's going to happen in that amount of time. Personally, I know some people who do, because this is, it's long term. And that's not saying I'm not long term. It's just I don't like committing to things 3 years in advance, because what if I want to go on a holiday to Europe?
Yeah.
And I want to be away for 3 months. You lose those sort of things. So that's kind of the only reason I don't do that. But yeah, I'm noticing 18 months is probably the happy medium for vendors who can't do more than one thing. Like there's only one of me. There's only one Southern Sky duo. I can't replicate Southern Sky duo. It doesn't matter how hard I try, who I find, no one will ever sound exactly like me. Can I find people who are just as good, if not better? Definitely.
Yeah.
But I can't be in more than one place. Someone like a cake maker, depending on the team and how they work, and once again, I'm no baker, so I do not quote me on any of this. But maybe they can pump out 10 cakes for a Saturday wedding and do 10 different venues, because they make them all, they're ready, they just drive them around or get picked up.
Yep.
I've seen some pretty amazing things from solo cake artists pumping out a lot of cakes, and that's awesome. So then you don't have to go, I need to book my cake 18 months in advance, because what if they're not available? It's not as bad. Maybe you're doing a backyard wedding and you want to hire a food truck. Well, once again, most food trucks are sole owners, sole operators, sole chefs. If you want their food, you probably should book them a fair bit in advance, otherwise you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
Same with photo and video. Once again, as yourselves are, your sole traders, you have a team, you have people that you go to for second, third shooters and to fill in if you need it and that kind of thing. But in the end, it's your photo style and your editing style. Everything you do can't just be replicated. So they're hiring you for a reason. So yeah, give yourself more time than less. If you can do it 18 months in advance, I would. It also gives you more time to pay things off. We do payment plans with some of our brides and grooms and couples. Some people will pay us monthly. And we work that out on the spot and go, okay, it's 14 months until your wedding. Let's split this payment into 14. You still got to pay the deposit. We can't change that. But the remainder of it, we'll do a payment plan. Because we don't want it to be about the money. We don't want it to be, if you want our services, this is what we cost. We don't want you to then go, we just can't afford that right now, and we don't know when we're going to have the money, or it sounds stressful to 2 months out from the wedding have to all of a sudden fork out thousands of dollars. So we go, all right, well, it doesn't affect us. You're paying us the same amount. There's no interest on it. It's not like we're going to charge you a fee to do it, because in the end, it's just going into an account. Just set up a direct payment. It's, we don't change anything. We just track it. That's it. So once again, the more time you have, the more time you have to pay. There's lots of those little things. And we've got people who have been doing that with us for our wedding. Some people just go, look, every 2 or 3 months, bring us a lump sum, an amount of the total cost. So we're hopefully on track to, a couple months out, the only thing we'll be paying is food and drink, because when we have the final numbers and that kind of thing, and hopefully the bulk of our vendors will be paid off, and which eliminates so much stress. It's one of the major causes of arguments within couples, business partners, and just society is money. Money, it is a blessing and a curse. It causes a lot of issues. So if you can eliminate those issues, it makes the planning process so much easier.
You're getting married, right?
Yes.
And you're a vendor as well. Do you find it's a bit difficult, for you to control everything? You know, like being hands-on.
We are control freaks, myself and Belle. I don't know, I'm not afraid to admit that a lot of the time, if I think I'm right, I'm pretty stuck in my way and I think I'm right. Like, I can be pretty stubborn about that. Hopefully all my family don't watch this. Otherwise, you're going to just, I will hear from everyone. Yes, you are stubborn. Yes, you don't move. So, yes, it is very, very hard, but we have some incredible vendors that, a lot of them mentored us when we came into the industry. So a lot of our ideologies come from them anyway, but we also are very big on the fact that we've created our own brand and we have our own way to do things and we have our own way that a wedding should run. And I feel like, as you guys would too, if we planned a wedding right now, I guarantee from start to end, large sections will be very similar. Little details will be completely different. And that's for everyone. Like, I love the idea of going in, doing an entrance at the reception and cutting a cake straight away. I just think it's a really, really good way to do it. It eliminates having to do that other thing later that might take up a little bit of time. I really like that way. There are other vendors who do not agree, and I don't think we're doing that. No, we're not doing that for our wedding because we've been told by the people who are running our day that it's not how they prefer to do it and they think it works better at this time. So we do have to sit back and go, we're not running this wedding. We actually are just rocking up. We're being told where to go. We're being told to smile. And we have no say in anything that happens. When push comes to shove, someone else is making those calls. And really, if everyone's doing their job, which we know they will, we actually won't know when something goes wrong or happens. That's usually us as the vendors. Something goes wrong, we fix that problem before the couple know. That's why it can be such a stressful job. But I'm just going to be sitting there all day going, is everything running okay? Because no one's told me anything. There's so many little details where we're being told, no, we're going to do this. No, we're going to do this. Because we've got people who, we trust making those decisions. And in the end, they're running it. They're creating the day. And we get the overall say in the end, we get the final say. Yep, that's pretty much how it works at a wedding. The couple do get the final say. But we also need to sit there and go, I hate it when the couple just goes, no, when we know that this works. So I need to not be that person and go, Brody, just be quiet. Let them do their job. You're going to have an amazing day. And when push comes to shove, you're not even going to notice those little differences that you thought were important before. But it's hard for anything, especially we have entertainment on the day. We have someone playing music. It's so hard to not sit there and go, we want you to do it exactly like this because that's how we want it. In the end, hiring them because we love their style and we can give them the vibe of what we want, but I can't control what they do because in the end, they're a professional. We hired them because they're them. And it's the same. It's like I've heard of videographers and photographers doing their weddings and they struggle to pick who they want because, gear that they use might not be the gear that they use. The style might not be the same style. The shots might not be the same shots. And in the end, the photos, the raw images might come back different, but you have to turn around and go, no, they're still producing an incredible product that at the end of the day, I'm going to love. And I'm probably being too nitpicky right now about it. So it can be very hard. And especially when you're so proud of what you do. I always feel like what I do is a really, really good product. And I'm like, my question is, on the day of a wedding, would I be happy with that? What I just did then, would I be happy with it? Sometimes you sit there and you can be really, really critical because in the end we're human and you go, I didn't like that. I wouldn't do that at my wedding. But the couple will turn around and go, that was amazing. It was so good. Little things that we really kill ourselves about, they don't notice. But for ours, the process has been very tough because we went, we have so many people going, we'll send you a timeline. I'm like, no, I've got the timeline. They're like, yeah, but we'll send you a timeline for what's going to work for your wedding. I don't care. I've got my timeline. Like, why do you need yours? I've got it. It's already done. What are you doing? And then they send it through and we're like, oh no, that does make more sense. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, so it happens a fair bit, but it's really, it is tough. It can be very tough. But we're getting there. Yeah. We're getting there. I think I'll do it once.
Yeah. I did a wedding a couple of years ago. It was a big wedding. Everything messed up ever since the beginning. Like the makeup artist running late, half an hour running late, right? And then when we got there, like me, myself, and the videographer got there, the makeup wasn't done. I think we only spent like 45 minutes or an hour at the bride prep location, and it was a lot like rushy moments.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I got there shooting the details. We had to spend like half an hour just shooting the details, which is a lot of times doing nothing, just small details. Oh, do this, do that, something. Shoot candidates, and she's not done yet. So back to the details. And then we only spent like maybe 5-10 minutes like shooting with the bride by herself. To be honest, it's not good for our footage as well, footage and photos. I could tell like the bride was actually stressing out. It's not really good.
It's not what you want.
Nah.
For everyone's sake.
Yeah.
Don't want it.
Yeah. Thankfully, the ceremony went well. After that, it was okay.
How long have you been performing? And has it always been weddings?
Definitely not always weddings. Okay. When I started playing music, it was definitely more for me. Well, for starters, I was young. I was 9 when I started playing. So I'm coming up to nearly 20 years playing guitar, which is pretty crazy. Even crazier to think that would mean I'm nearly 30, so that's not fun. But yeah, I started probably at 9. I was very lucky where I grew up. We had a lot of performing opportunities. So it's like by the age of 10, our guitar teacher was taking us to nursing homes and Eisteddfods, and we were competing. And like by the time I was in year 7, our group had won multiple competitions and stuff like that. We played with some phenomenal musicians. Then high school kind of came around, started doing a few more. Once again, we would do a lot of charity events, concerts at school. We'd performed on the radio probably 2 or 3 times before I was in year 12. And all covers and stuff like that, just lots of fun. We went on music trips, like we went to Hong Kong and China to perform. So, being able to say I've literally played in an international music competition is pretty cool. And I say that, but it wasn't really we were all competing. We'd all get awards based off our scores. So that did not mean everyone won gold. It literally meant there was some of what we did where we'd get bronze, other stuff we'd get gold. But, you're performing in front of 500-600 different students from different schools and teachers and adjudicators and people who had performed at all the biggest venues in the world. So it was really, really cool experience. And then from about 15 years old, I started running events. My mother-in-law was actually my now mother-in-law, so we've known her for a long time, was the one who used to get me to do lots of charity work around our local town at the school that she was on the committee for. And I started doing discos, started running my own concerts. I started doing like full-on street festivals and all that kind of thing. And that was all more for the live sound and that. And then I was gigging on and off for a few years, but it wasn't until myself and my now partner, Rosabella, were together for a few years. And, as you do, you kind of put it off. You go, oh yeah, we'll start one day. We'll try one day, whatever. And then someone went, can you come to our Christmas in July? We were like, okay, well, probably need a name, need a set. So I had all the gear ready to do it. So we did that. People just recorded us. So just iPhone recordings. We sent it to a bunch of pubs. Within a month, we were gigging once a week. Within 3 months, it was twice a week. Within 6 months, it was 3 to 4 times a week.
Nice.
And then within a year, we were doing weddings. And that just kind of suddenly came up. Someone inquired about it, loved what we did, said, can we do the wedding? We were like, yeah. Can you DJ? I was like, done a little bit. I'm like, we can do it. So, then it just became, well, are we going to go seriously, or are we going to just kind of do it on the side? So we went, let's do it serious. So I got myself DJ lessons and actually made myself I don't like not doing a good product. So we started doing the DJ lessons. We started getting MC lessons and doing courses and learning it. And then it was, the music side of it we had done. We'd both been performing and playing for 10, 15 years each at this point. And then it just kind of escalated from there. And we were post-COVID. The business was a post-COVID baby. It created, and it was a great time because people were like, live music, entertainment, yeah, let's go. So we got busy very quick. And now people seem to, within the industry, everywhere, know of us, which is just a really cool thing. So yeah, now it's the gigging side of things is very much weddings and events. We're still trying to get more corporate. It's a pretty hard one that I found difficult to crack. But once again, we've got some people in the industry that we chat to and they're giving us great advice, and we're working on that. And then, within 3 years, I went from gigging 2 or 3 times a year to, in a year, I did 92 or 94 gigs. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So like in 2 or 3 years, I went from a few gigs to nearly 100 gigs in a year, which I was like, I would love to crack it. I want to crack it. I was burnt out. So burnt out, it's not funny. And I was like, I am never going for that goal again, ever. That's a lot of time and a lot of gigs. And especially being like winter, there's next to nothing for musicians, especially. That was basically like lots of weekends of 3 to 4. I think there was one weekend there was 2 weekends that year I did 5 gigs in a weekend, like double gigs in a day. Wow. We'd have Father's Day and Mother's Day, and we would go do breakfast, lunch and dinner at 3 different venues. So yeah, we became workhorses. And now we're like quality over quantity. We want to do more good, less gigs, but really good ones, really meaningful ones. That's why I love doing weddings. Every one of them's different. No 2 weddings are the same. Yeah. So yeah, come a long way, which is pretty crazy to think about. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's pretty helpful. Now shifting gears a bit. As a wedding musician, how important is networking for your career?
I don't think you have a career unless you network. As simple as that. The first expo I ever did, I was crapping myself, is to put it lightly. No idea what to expect. I'd never been to a wedding expo. Like I wasn't at the time even thinking of marriage or anything like that. I hadn't played many weddings. I didn't know anyone. And I went in there and the quality of what everyone had was just incredible. And it's just the little things like the banners, the TVs, the dance floors, then people's DJ booths, the way people set up the equipment, everything just was like next level. And we went in there and was like, I just got mad imposter syndrome right now. This is like, I do not fit in. But I met some very, very, very good people, which, I may as well give a little shout out to 2 people in particular who kind of helped us at the beginning, kind of steer what we were meant to do. And that was Pete from Spoilt Photo Booths and Adam from Envy. And they both said the same thing. It was, you need to just talk to people, make friends. And I was like, but we're here to book weddings and make money, and like I need to make money, put food on the table, pay rent, all this. He goes, they both said, if you just network, you're going to get all the advice in the world. People are going to help you. People are going to get you for weddings and hire you based off weddings they're already doing. And you're just going to learn so much. Now these people have become, long life friends. But that advice really stuck with me. And now you tell me a network event, I'm there. If there's an expo or an open day, even if I'm not there, I'm there. Like if I'm not playing, I'll probably still go to just have a look, get ideas, have a day out, meet new people. And then those people then become your colleagues, because we don't have colleagues. Like we don't have and in my business it's just me and my partner. Absolutely. If we disagree on something, half the time it's like, did you disagree with me because you just want to disagree with me, or did you disagree because you think it's a bad idea? Usually it's a bad idea, but we don't want to listen to that. So having those people out there to kind of go, nah, this is killer, like do it, whatever it is that you want to do, or go, I don't think that's going to work, you might just be wasting your time. It's all the advice, and it's the hard advice that you need to make a business work. I see too many businesses in the wedding industry that have started up after us and are no longer doing it already, because it's hard. It's brutal. It's amazing when it goes well. It's horrible when it doesn't. Like having those, like getting the advice to go, you know, what are you going to do in the off season to alleviate the lack of income coming in? And people telling you, well, as a musician, I would just go hard on the pub gigs, like go on the restaurants, go to the golf clubs, do all that kind of stuff, because that's what's going to help you survive that time. And you know what? Everyone in their life has the survival period. And then during the peak season, that's when you thrive. But you just getting those advice and like being told to make friends was a massive part. And now we have made friends, and we are finding that like it makes it easier, because people are going, I've booked so-and-so for my wedding. They put you on a list of 2 or 3 other people that they like working with, and they recommend, and they're preferred vendors. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, awesome. I'm now getting work from that. I am getting work from making friends. Yeah. Like, and you just don't expect that. The word of mouth doesn't always mean your client's word of mouth. It can also mean your peers' word of mouth. Like, I don't know how many times that, like I've gone onto a Facebook page and seen my name pop up 5 or 6 times for a wedding. But it goes both ways. So if I see photographers wanted, I tag my photographers. And that's not necessarily in any order or anyone in particular because of any reason. They're just people that I enjoy working with in the industry, people that I have networked with. Same with celebrants, do the same thing. If I'm too busy, it's usually those DJs and those musicians that I enjoy being around, and I appreciate them from a networking friendship point of view. Plus they do really good work. They're the ones I'm recommending. So if you are starting in the industry, like, you just need to make friends and need to be honest with people, and you need to be genuine. It gets caught out real quick when you're not. And people like are in this industry because they want to, because passion has become work, but they want to still keep it fun. And a lot of the time in every job that I've ever been in, the work could be so mundane and boring. But if I've got a good crew around me, I can get through the day. The same for a wedding. Could be the best wedding ever, but if I don't like the people I'm working with, I'm like, it was really good because of the, you know, the couple and their guests and all that kind of thing. But man, you might have times where you just turn around and go, oh, that photographer was just like really on me the entire time. Everything I was doing, they were on top of me to do something better. And I'm like, I don't want to work with them anymore because I just felt like I was in trouble all day. Whereas like your friends will turn around and go, hey, what do you think of this? Can you just go do this? Or should we do this next? Like, you're consulting, you're talking to each other. And that is all a part of networking. Networking is no one thing. I don't think there's one way to do it, and everyone has a different way of doing it. As most people can tell, I don't stop talking, so I use that. Like, I'll go out and I'll talk to anyone. I will go and make friends. When you guys said I'd come on a podcast, I was like, awesome, wicked. I can put my skills to use for once. Just stand here and talk. But it was a massive bit of advice was going, you need to network. And now there's so many different things that you don't even realize are networking. A good friend of mine, Riley Craig, he's just started making games. And if you've ever heard of give a little shout out, Squad Goals. There you go. So he started making these games, and we started having a few games nights here and there. And I go to these to have fun with a few friends that I've met through the industry. But I didn't realize how much networking I'd get out of that because their friends in the industry who I haven't worked with before, I haven't met, are now becoming my friends.
Yeah.
So, and you notice that a lot. You go to a wedding and I think there was a wedding that we may have done at Chapel
Farm, yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
And there was someone there, I can't remember who, that, I can't remember which vendor exactly it was, that you knew and I didn't. And I went, cool. I now have a common person and now I've made a friend. Now I've started networking with someone else. And then I'm going to run into them at a wedding and go, awesome, I don't know these two other people, but because we know each other and this person knows them, we're kind of branching out again. So it's like networking will come at all points. It can be on social media. It can be through an email thread. It can be through a random barbecue that you go to that you just were like, yeah, I'll come for a good time, whatever. It could be a literal networking night. Like if you get invited to these things, just go and make the most of it because they will help you grow within the industry. More people know you. There's more people to kind of go pull your head in with something like that's not good or this isn't great. And I've definitely had those moments where I thought something I was doing was incredible and a few people turn around and go, Brody, that's not it. That's not you. That's not a great idea. That's not going to work. And it kind of just makes you not necessarily second guess, but just be a bit more cautious about some of the things you're doing. Like, it's, and in the end, it can be a lonely job. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%,
it can be a very lonely job. You're working by yourself. You guys would be editing by yourself a lot of the time. As a DJ, it sounds very social, but in the end, you're standing there for 2.5, 3 hours watching other people party. Like, that's not social. Like, I am paid to stand in the corner and pick your music. That's like, it's not exactly what. It's not as glamorous always as people think it is. So, and I'm not saying it's a hard job. I would definitely rather do that than lay bricks. I am not built for manual labor at all. So, like, I'm very, very grateful for the job, and I'm not saying I'm not. It's just I appreciate that part of the wedding earlier in the day when everyone else is kind of having dinner and we're all sitting there having our vendor meal and we're just chatting like this. Like, it's networking. And if I don't know the person, I always make an effort to get to know them. Ask their name, ask for their socials and their business, because in the end, most of the time, it's like you go somewhere and I'm like, hi, I'm Brody. Who are you? Hi, I'm Southern Sky. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you. Yeah. So getting that side of it, because like you start networking more, doing little things like you go to a wedding, tag everyone. Like, don't just tag your friends. Don't just tag 1 or 2 people. Tag everyone. I like to get a list from the clients of everyone who's going to be there. And I've kind of made a mental note for this wedding season to actually start doing all the tags before I get there. So on like a note and just copying and pasting them in and then just making it work somehow. Because when you do that, people are going to share. If you tag me, I'm going to share your post. And then I'm going to post, you're going to share it. All of a sudden, we just created this cycle between all the vendors. And we're, you know what, I don't have a lot of social media following. It's definitely something we're trying to build up. Maybe I get a couple hundred views on mine, but maybe someone else there has a couple thousand. And then that could turn my couple hundred into 300, 400, 500. And then maybe my small growth can help them build up 10, 20 more. Like every single little bit counts, and you don't want to write anyone off. Like, include everyone, network with everyone, make as many friends as possible, and you'll definitely go further, and you will enjoy it a hell of a lot more. Which I think if you don't enjoy it,
there's no point doing it.
We don't live to work. We work to live. But if you can enjoy that side of it more, it just, everything ends up being happier. So you want to go to work. And when I see a list of vendors and I'm like, I know this is going to be a good day. This is going to be a good wedding. Even if the guests don't know yet, it's going to be a good wedding. We're going to have a ball. And that gets me excited to go to work. So, yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago, when I first started doing this, we were talking about maybe
28.
Before cameras were invented.
Maybe 10, 15 years ago. I always think about the other vendors as my competition. You know, it's like, he's not a photographer. I'm not going to let him to steal my clients. That's how I think of vendors back then. And then as I grew mature as a vendor, as a photographer, I value relationship. That's why we have this podcast. Like we love to have a chat with different vendors. We make relationships with them. And, it's just fun, chatting with someone, talking about our lives, talking about their lives, just making some simple relationships.
Yeah.
I love that. But I didn't think like that before. I always think like different vendors, like, my competition, I don't want them to steal my clients and all that. I met this guy, another photographer. He said, Alvin, if you want to be successful in the photography business, you have to make relationships with other vendors. Be up there, go up to them, and introduce yourself. It's like okay. At first, it was difficult for me because I'm not really good with people. It took me some time to learn, to come up to some strangers and say, "Hi, my name is Alvin. I'm from Arts in Motion." To open up to someone, it's actually really hard for me. Yeah, and then finally I made it. And then and
you're right. It's a big part of it. It's not like, I guess it's a similar outlook that I have, but probably different wording that I use is competition isn't bad. Yeah. And like, as much as I don't want to see, I see them all as my other vendors as my peers, not my competitors. But I also do see it as, they are still my competition, but that's cool. I like it. Like, I don't know what the stats is. It's about this. I think it's 15,000 weddings in WA a year, and 2/3 of that are in Perth alone. So we got 10, 11,000 roughly, if not more, because of the southwest being so close. Weddings in Perth a year. Now I can tell you right now, I can't do all of them.
Same here.
It's like you can't even scratch the surface of that. And obviously, let's go with 70% of those want entertainment, 30% of don't. That then limits it again. And so many things that will limit it. So yes, there is competition, and I'm never gonna sit there and go, don't pick me because these guys are great. I'm always gonna go pick me because I back myself. I think I do a good job. But I'm not annoyed when a bride turns around and goes, sorry, we didn't pick you because we picked this other musician. I'm like, awesome. You're going to have an amazing day. And that's literally my reply. Thank you so much for letting me know. Your day is going to be amazing. They are absolutely killer at what they do. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to ask. That's where I leave it, because I don't want to take weddings away from them. And competition keeps us honest. Competition keeps prices from hiking too high, from going too low. I think my competition has turned around before when I entered the industry and went, no, I definitely undercut. I, without a doubt, will openly admit it. There's cameras around that we were too cheap. And we got told that. And I was like, okay, cool. How do we bump these up without just bumping them up? So, we kind of worked at it and we got good advice about it. But it was, you don't want to undercut. You don't want to overcut people. You don't want to steal weddings from out from under people. Because, as I said before, these people might turn around and go, thanks for doing this. I've actually got a wedding that I can't do. Can you fill in? And then all of a sudden, I've made money. I'm making money off those people. And that's not using them to make money. It's just another avenue that you kind of get those bookings from. And then the other thing is, like, life happens sometimes, and I want people in my corner for when life happens to help me out, to fill in. So there was I don't know if it was the wedding season just gone, and there was someone who got really, really ill on the day of their wedding, and there was a large group of people. Everyone put their hands up, and someone jumped in, sorted the wedding out on the day. It was an awesome day. You would never have known that that person fell really ill. And I was like, well, that's a community I want to be a part of. That's the networking group I want to be a part of. That's what I want to instill into other people. And that's what I want people to think of me as well. That I'd be willing to throw my hand up and go, I'll help you out. Like, don't worry, we'll sort all this out. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about anything. We'll sort that a bit later. And that is a big part of it. You see, if you push the money aside, it does come. Like, if you focus more, as you said, making friends, then you'll see that your network grows a lot bigger, and your clientele grows a lot bigger, and your outreach grows a lot bigger. I just don't see people making it in any industry by themselves. Like, obviously you need to have self-drive and the push to do it, but I just think if you haven't got people in your corner, then it's pretty lonely. Yeah. Pretty lonely and pretty hard to do.
That's right.
So
I guess we're doing this is kind of win-win situation, really. It's really good.
Yeah. No, I love stuff like this. It helps. It's good for everyone. It's good for the clients to see the real side of it. It's good for other vendors to kind of get an insight into certain things. I've been watching the episodes and going, oh, that's awesome. I didn't really think about that. Watched the episode with Brandon and went,
thank you.
You're welcome. I do watch, guys. I do watch. And going, awesome. It's good to see other people feel that way too. Like, and these are...
It's not just yourself.
No. And Brandon is someone who I've looked up to while I've been in this industry because he's also been someone who's helped us a lot, given us a lot of advice.
As he said, he's a dinosaur in the industry.
He's a dinosaur and I'm just a little newborn trying to make my way into it. So, but it's so true. It's like you can't do it without other people in your corner. When something happens, you need people to help out. But also, we're all here to make money. And I'm not going to be that person that steals someone else's gig because I want it more than them when they've earned it. You know, not about that. And I don't think there are many people who are, which is great. But yeah, if you've got kind of the more people you know, the more outreach you have, the more things you'll learn. Yeah. The more things you learn, more things you can do, the more weddings, the more gigs, the more events that you can do. So yeah, everything's a domino effect. Yeah. It doesn't happen without the other.
And yeah, I think no one really tells you how to run a business anyway. So, you know, the more people you actually talk to, you know, like I talk to Alvin pretty much every week. Yeah. I get tired of his face, but okay. He's probably the same to me.
You're going to have to shift spots on the table.
But yeah, you know, like I learned a lot of things from Alvin too. He's been in the industry longer than me. Yeah. And
come on, say it. Say it.
No, it's just I just hate when like other photographers just don't want to be friends with you. I mean, I would go in a wedding where I talk to the photographers. You know, I would say, "Hi, my name is Brad from BKD Media. I'm be doing the videography today," and you know, they just turn around. They don't want to talk to you at all. Like you still get those people. But
you're going to get them everywhere.
Yeah.
But it makes the other people look better. So,
yeah. I just don't understand it. I mean,
and we've got so many similarities, so many likes. Like, if I talk to other musicians and DJs, like, we have so much in common. We literally do the same job.
Yeah.
We have so much to compare, so much to talk about. And you can't really get away from it unless you literally take yourself out, which once again, as I said before, it's just lonely. Like, yeah, and I'm quite a social person, so I'd rather this. I'd rather come and chat to you guys and you know, meet new people. And like, we've just met today. Well, actually, probably met before knowing the wedding industry. We've probably at some point done something together. Maybe. But like, being able to meet someone and then all of a sudden my network has now built up again. It's another person. Yeah. It's another person that I can go to for advice, go to for help, and also just someone I can catch up with. Sometimes you just need the social side of it. 100%. People to chat to who are going through the same thing. Yeah. You can't do that unless you network. Like, my family are great, such a good support network for me. But they don't do the same things I do. So when I need direct advice about something very in particular, I'm going to go to my colleagues. My colleagues aren't under the same banner as me, but that doesn't really matter. They do weddings in Perth. That it's pretty much all I need. And no amount of social media, no amount of, like you said, no one help you run a business necessarily. There's no real right way to do it.
Yep.
I tried to do the research, and everything I was looking up was just things in other countries or things over east, and there was so much that didn't relate to me because Perth's such a small place. Like it's a small business in a small city, and there might be a lot of work out there, but it's still a small place. Like everyone knows everyone, and you never walk into a wedding without having some mutual friend in the end, because it's you're making friends, like not just colleagues, like work friends, but they end up being more than that, as always. Always happens. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Brody, for coming in and
Thanks for
sharing
having
your
me.
infos and stuff. See you next time, guys.
See ya.
Bye.